Tonight, by popular request, we show you how to build your own con survival backpack.
Tune in, gear up, and let's get rolling.
That's how we roll. 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 Welcome to the Goblins Corner. My name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight,
we're talking about the Con Survival Pack.
That's right. We did an episode, a couple episodes ago, about con survival in general. And one of the things we happened to mention was you should probably make a backpack that has some basic essentials in there to survive your convention, what we call a con survival pack.
Yes.
And it had a bunch of stuff like booze and water and snacks and various other things like that. And a couple people said, hey, you know what? You should make a episode just on the con survival backpack and show us what you have in your backpack.
So here we are.
Easy peasy. This is literally got this stuff out of the closet because we pack it ahead of time.
Yep. And it was time to get it out of the closet anyway because Dragon Con is right around the corner.
A couple weeks away.
Yep.
So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. Help us get our show out to more people and get notified when amazing episodes come your way.
And if you're listening to the show, give us a review on iTunes or Podchaser or wherever else you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and if you're coming to con, give us a high five.
Absolutely. Get a drink.
So, as we mentioned, listener-requested episode. We're going to show you how to craft your own con survival backpack. It's super easy, and I want you to not think like a prepper when you're doing this. Because when people think, oh, con survival backpack, so I've got to have...
my guns.
Yeah, my guns, my everyday carry stuff. No. This is just stuff that you need to have a good time and in case some things happen.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is a default one. Yours may vary. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Yep. I've got a backpack here. Matt's got a backpack over on his side. We're going to show you a bunch of photos. For those of you who are listening to the podcast and not watching us, we're going to post all of these photos on our website so that you can kind of break down what we've done. But a good example of that is we are going to talk about like having some booze or something like that. I generally don't carry any booze because Matt carries an entire bar in his backpack.
That is fair and accurate.
Yes. So this is kind of a default pack you can use to kind of put together and then, mix stuff up, right? If you need an extra pair of socks, put in an extra pair of socks.
Let's kick it off. What is in a con survival backpack?
We've got 5 different categories of items.
Mm-hmm.
The first is booze, at least for us.
It's true.
Now, if you don't drink, that's fine.
You do not have to drink at a convention to have a good time.
Or do whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything but enjoy yourself. Yeah. However you go about that without hurting other people.
But for us, we tend to bring some booze.
Right.
We also have a first aid kit, which we will show you. A costume first aid kit, which we briefly mentioned, and I'll explode mine and show it to everybody.
We've got snacks and water because you have to keep your blood sugar up and you have to stay hydrated.
Yeah, you got to eat.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
And then finally, what, Matt?
Something to read, like a card game or some dice, something to pass the time while in line or just taking a breather.
Yes, so time wasters.
Yeah.
And general stuff, right?
Yep.
So, first off, here is the entire con survival backpack. So let's check that out.
All right.
Now, as you can see from the photos, we've got Matt's bag of holding. This is Matt's actual bag that he takes to his room and everywhere in con. If you see a very large man that looks like Matt with a bag of holding, that's him at con.
Yes.
Every time. And we've got our 5 major categories. Starting at the top left, we've got booze, as you can see.
With a mixer.
Yeah, with the mixer. Not much. We'll go into more detail of all these categories in a second.
To the top right, we have a first aid kit for costumes.
Yes, and that's a larger one. We'll show some other examples as well. Bottom left, we've got, obviously, first aid kit, along with some essentials.
Necessities.
Yeah, essentials. What's on the bottom right there, Matt?
Bottom right is snacks and water.
Yes. Again, these are bare minimum things.
Yes.
And then in the center, just some examples of stuff. I didn't include my Kindle on there or a notepad, but you would assume something to write with. You could see a lighter, some 2 things of dice, which Matt owns, and then some cards, right?
Yeah.
Some games.
Yep. Also, books, but if you watch us recording, you know that we're a fan of books. So.
Yes. And honestly, if you're at a con, most likely you're going to purchase some books. So you don't need one in your...
Newly purchased,
yeah. You don't even need it. So let's go ahead and dive in to the backpack itself. So let's take a look at the backpack. As you can see...
So this is my backpack. It's black canvas. It is rugged. It has a cavernous centered containment.
It's big.
Yes. It has 2 side pockets,
Mhm.
which can be latched down. Now, these surprisingly perfectly fit a 750 milliliter bottle of whatever you might want in 750 milliliters.
Booze for Matt every time. It's got a front pocket there, I see.
Yes. Which zips shut. It's good for you to have parts of your bag, if not the whole thing, that close securely.
Yeah. Now, don't think that you have to have Matt's type of backpack to have a good time. And in fact, I've got one here. This is just a straight up standard laptop backpack that I've had for many years. In fact, it's all beat to hell at this point. I think this is like a Swiss. And it's got a couple of different levels. I carry a lot more costumes than Matt does. I tend to run around in different costumes. So sometimes I'll have a need for the extra pockets and less for the boost. Matt has a very cavernous central core, which he uses because he carries a lot of spirits and big bottles of stuff.
Yes.
But I mean, any old backpack will do. The biggest key about this is you're not going to fill this backpack all the way. In fact, I would say 1/3 to half at the most. And why is that, Matt?
Because you are going to be picking up swag. You're going to be picking up merchandise that you can't maybe find at home. You're going to a convention not just for the experience, but oftentimes for the stuff. Now, you can go not buy anything and have a great time. But if you're a person visiting from a place that doesn't necessarily have a lot of options for buying things, conventions are a great place to pick up new things. And when you buy new things, you need a place to put them.
Because you don't want to carry them around in the little swag bags they give you, because then you're just going to have like 15 different bags on your arm. So get a nice backpack. It doesn't have to be a camping backpack. Think like a day pack of some sort, right? Don't lug around a rucksack or something like that.
Unless that's what makes you happy.
Yeah, if that's your thing, go for it. Me, I just want a small backpack I can carry some stuff in, right?
Sure.
One of the things that we also would recommend in the actual backpack, which isn't really a category, but I would consider essential, is a little bit of additional clothing.
Yeah. Eric is holding something which may seem funny or awkward for some people, what have you, but he has a spare set of socks and underwear.
Yep. Now you're thinking to yourself, I'm not going to have an accident, and you may not. But Matt had a great example that we talked about before the show. Let's say you're walking around the con, you sit down on a park bench, or you sit down in an area, and someone spilled their drink. It's not water. It's probably some kind of sticky soda beverage.
Yep.
Now it's going to get on your pants. You're an adult. You can do what you want to do, right? So what if your pants are wet? But you know what's really uncomfortable? Wet underwear.
Yes. Not only is it uncomfortable, sugar in your undercarriage is not optimal.
No.
That's how I'm phrasing it.
It's not great.
No.
So carry a pair of these. They weigh next to nothing. I'll tell you another thing that's great. Carry a pair of socks. Our buddy of ours swears by this because if you've been walking around all day long,
the mental boost you get simply from changing out your socks is exceptional.
Yeah. If you sit down in a quiet area, you take off your shoes, you change out your socks for some clean ones, maybe you're in the AC for like a good 30 minutes, it instantly refreshes you.
Yep.
When you can't go back to your room and maybe take a nap or something like that.
Preferably away from other people.
Yeah, don't take your shoes off in front of the middle of like a con store or something like that. Yeah, don't be that guy.
Also, if someone bumps into you and spills their Coke down your leg, the last thing you want to walk around in is sugar-soaked socks. Once again, not great for you.
And has happened to both of us.
Indeed.
All right, let's talk about the next aspect of the Con Survival Backpack. We're talking here about booze, Matt.
Okay.
Now, in the image here, go ahead and get your stuff out while we're talking. It's right next to you.
Yep.
As you can see, Matt's got a couple of flasks in his hands. Hold those up to the camera there, Matt. Thank you very much. He's just got a couple of them there, probably various booze in there.
Rum and whiskey in these two, I believe.
There you go. That's good. Two good staples. And what you got in there in your right hand?
I got a mixer.
Okay, it's a little Red Rock there, but you could have any mixer you want.
I would suggest this one, but yes, you can have anything you like.
Yeah, it could be as simple as this.
It can.
Also, we've got what? To your left, you've got some shot glasses.
So when I go to con, for years, I have carried disposable shot glasses because I share my booze.
Yes. So they're just paper shot glasses that you can buy at Kroger or any place else.
Yep. The squishy plastic ones are also good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be pouring more than one shot for the same person, using those is better because the paper ones get soft on the bottom. But if it's a one and done, the paper ones are fine.
And one of the things that we were mentioning in the Con Survival episode was,
for safety, anytime I pour a shot for people that I don't know or I've only recently met, I pour a shot for me and a shot for them from the same container.
Yep.
I let them hold the cup and I pour the shot into it. That way they can see that there's nothing in the cup and they can see that I am willing to drink from the same container that I am pouring for them.
That's consponsible, folks.
Yeah. It's always good to have faith in humanity, but it's also always good to have some trust in your own senses.
Yes. So you can have a lot more than that if you want, but again, you may not even need it, right?
Sure. Now, understand, we talk about it because it is part of our convention ritual. It's part of our enjoyment. Not every convention allows outside booze.
Do it at your own discretion. You're an adult.
Your own discretion and your own risk.
All right. Let's talk about the first aid kit, which is the next essential in a Con Survival backpack.
Yes.
As you can see, let's take a look at the image here. So what we have here, just starting at the top there, we've got, what are those? Some earplugs, Matt?
Earplugs.
Okay.
Yes. Are you going to need earplugs for the entire convention? No, absolutely not. But if you are the kind of person who likes to be up front and center for any sort of announcement or any sort of live play or anything like that, that means you are going to be standing near the stacks, aka the large stacks of speakers.
Protect your ears.
Protect your ears. Yes, you're going to be able to hear the game or whatever you're watching quite clearly, but you're not going to hear anything else for the rest of the convention very clearly if you don't use some earplugs.
We've also got some hand sanitizer there, I see, and that's just, that goes with the mask as well.
Yep, and that I like the ones that have the little loop on them that you can put on your belt buckle or your belt loop so that you don't lose it.
I'm going to tell you this about the mask. Even if it's not an area where you need one, like outside and stuff like that, go ahead and bring a mask. Bring a couple.
Yeah.
Because you might be in a very crowded area and someone else is sick. And you, being a responsible person, can hand them a mask so that they cannot get anybody else sick.
Correct. And if they won't take it, then you can put it on, because if you're in a crowded convention center and you're beside someone who inconsiderately came to the convention sick as a dog, there's no reason for you to leave the convention with whatever it is they had.
Con crud happens.
Indeed.
We've also got, obviously, a toothbrush. This is just one I had lying around.
Sure.
You know what a toothbrush is. We got some antiperspirant there, I see, or some deodorant.
Yes, that is so you don't make other people sick.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend the one that doesn't melt.
Well, that is fair.
Because a lot of cons are hot if you're going to be hanging outside. So get the one that is not the gel stuff.
Yeah. The spray powder kind also works fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful as well. Yeah, don't be funky, right?
Exactly.
Con
funk is, ooh.
It's bad.
That's a whole different animal of funk.
Mm-hmm. I also recommend, by the way, speaking of funk, if you can't brush your teeth, I always carry like some gum, right? I got a packet of gum here, and maybe some floss. I would definitely consider floss because you're out to eat, get stuff stuck in your teeth.
And use minty floss. Double down.
Oh, that very good. Yeah. Something nice like that. And then, of course, finally, we've got the first aid kit itself. Now, you can get any type of kit anywhere.
Right.
This is just one I found online. I'm going to open this thing up and show you guys it a little bit. But this is just one. I think I got this on Amazon. If you're lazy, you can just buy this at Walmart.
Sure.
I mean, this is literally
anything is better than nothing.
Yeah, it has got a whole bunch of crap in here. I'm going to open this up for you to show. So you could see this is one of those survival ones. I don't know if you could see all this stuff, but it's got antiseptic stuff. It's got some Q-tips. It has some medicine in here. I'm not going to open all this up, but it's got some bandages, which I definitely would recommend. It's got some gauze.
Yeah, it's got some antibacterial ointment.
Yeah, some ointment. There are some rehydration salts, which, let me tell you, this or the emergencies, if you've got a hangover or your friend has been a little too drunk, very useful. And I've got some tummy meds in here, some antidiarrheals, stuff like that. This is actually a lot more than I would actually carry. If you want to make your own, if you don't want all of that stuff, what do we need, Matt?
realistically, Band-Aids,
Mm-hmm.
some ointment, because you're not necessarily going to be able to get conveniently someplace.
Right.
And you don't want to drip all over somebody
Yeah.
trying to get there.
You know, and if you don't want Band-Aids or ointment, you can also do, what is it, the liquid bandages stuff, because
Sure.
that also is,
Super glue.
Yeah, it's like
basically.
it's basically super glue.
Some pain meds, like
Headache medicine.
ibuprofen, sinus meds. If
Yep.
you have allergies, make sure you bring those.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, tummy meds. You're going to be out. You're going to be eating oftentimes a lot of things that you don't normally eat in quantities that you don't normally eat them.
They come in tiny pills, even some Tums, right? Take them
Yep.
along. You wake up in that hotel room, you've got a little bit of tummy troubles. You don't want to ruin your con with that.
Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is have to run downstairs to find a solution to that while you're already having stomach issues.
At its basic, that could literally be put into like an Altoids container, all of the stuff we just mentioned. And if
Sure.
you need anything else,
Go see a medic.
yeah. And there are medics at the conventions.
Yes.
But you should at least have that on your person. You don't need a gigantic thing like this.
Do you want to have to go talk to somebody because you've got tummy issues? No, you just want to take your meds.
Yeah. A couple things I would also recommend are, as we mentioned, the antibacterial. I generally take sinus meds because I have like sinus headaches a lot.
Sure.
Allergy meds are great, even not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else is having an allergy attack, some Benadryl. Again, you can get a pill bottle that just has, 10 or 15 of all of the following and have it in just a bottle.
Yep.
Most of them are different colors anyway.
Sure.
B12s are also very useful.
Mm-hmm. For some people.
For some people,
that's
if they're
very helpful.
recreationally partying a little too hard.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Band-Aids and gauze, right?
Yeah.
Like basic stuff.
I'd actually consider an energy drink or a V8 or something also like medicine. I generally keep a couple of Red Bulls with me because if you've been out all night, you've been screaming and yelling, maybe you've been drinking, get up in the morning, have a Red Bull, gives you wings. It doesn't give you wings. It just takes the pain away somewhat before you can go get that morning coffee. It lets you get to the bottom of the convention center so that you can have coffee someplace.
That's because you don't bring coffee with you, sir.
Yeah, fair enough. Coffee's essential as well.
Yes.
You could actually add the Folger. What is it? The that's not real coffee. I know in your mind, but
it is not. However, I would be lying if I didn't say that I don't have some of the Death Wish instant coffee in my bag literally at all times.
Matt's like a Boy Scout. Speaking of things that are also essential, we have what, Matt?
The question of the week.
Okay, what's the question of the week this week?
Well, we're staying on theme here. The kit we are presenting is fairly universal, but what is something that you personally like to ensure you have in your kit for your enjoyment, whether to prevent bad things or to ensure enjoyment?
So aside from coffee,
Yes.
I would probably say a hat because I'm out, particularly if it's like daytime.
Sure.
I'm a bald man. I gotta have a hat, right? Sunglasses are also essential, I would say.
Yeah.
And I always have just a clip-on one, so I have them in my backpack. But I don't know, anything that makes your life easier, stuff like that. A lighter. I don't smoke, but a lot of people do. A lighter's always useful.
Lighters are also useful as part of cosplay repair kits.
Very true. In fact, we've got one in our cosplay repair kit.
Yep.
What about you? What would you have that you would consider to be essential?
As you're well aware, I am highly ADHD, and I keep stimulants on me. As we mentioned before, right? The Death Wish instant packs. I keep caffeine, and in my case, yes, I know it's a bad habit, nicotine on me at all times. And I'm never without it. I have spares of everything. And so for me, that is an essential for my enjoyment of the convention.
Sure.
We touched ever so briefly on this before, but if you're a fan of recreational chemistry at conventions,
Which many people happen to be.
remember that there is a lot more stimulus than you're likely used to in such circumstances. So please take this into account.
You go on a magical ride, just keep in mind the ride's a little faster at the conventions.
Yes.
So be safe, folks. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. It's not my thing, but it is a lot of people's. I have a lot of friends.
Of course, we're always interested in your answer to the question of the week. If you'd like to hit us up at Goblin's Corner on all of the socials, please do. We're interested in hearing it. And of course, you could do what, Matt?
You can always comment down below. That is what the comment section is for.
That is true. We're talking about the Con Survival Kit. We've already gone through a couple of parts. We talked about your backpack, right? Have something to contain it in. We've talked about first aid kit, a little bit of booze. Now let's talk a little bit about the third part of the survival kit, which is a costume repair kit.
Yes.
As you can see from the photos, Matt has a very simple costume repair kit, which is literally, it's not even as big as a pack of gum.
No.
It's super tiny. And what does it have in it there, Matt? Let's open that up and take a look at that.
All right. So what we have, I keep it simple, right? I have a tiny sewing kit. It's got a little threader. It's got tiny pair of shears.
A teeny.
Yep. Sewing needles.
Yep.
Of various sizes and lengths. A thimble. Several different colors of thread. And a little sponge, which you can use to keep your needle in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Now, I do also carry a lighter. Well, I've always got a lighter. So I use that for burning off loose threads, or if something's...
Yeah, and I have a lighter as well. This is just a standard lighter, but you've got, what is it, the one that...
Yeah, I have the industrial torch lighter.
Very nice, yes.
Now, this is good both for loose threads and stuff, but it's also good if you keep it at a distance. Maybe somebody's warbler has started to come off. You can use it as a heat gun at a distance.
Sure.
So that is realistically the only two costume-based things I keep, because I don't cosplay like you do.
Yes. So let's talk about the bigger one, which let's go to the image there. As you can see, we've got a couple of different elements. I'm going to explain the stuff on the outside, then I'll open up this box that I put together. This, by the way, is not mine. I actually have an entire rolling toolkit.
Right.
But this isn't bad. So we've got what, Matt, first on the top?
We've got a glue gun on the top left.
Yeah, it's the hot glue gun. You can get that at the dollar store. Like, they're super cheap. That's the really small one. I've got one of the big Sure Bonders that I use, but, if you're looking for space.
And I understand a lot of people love the safety glue guns, but the ones that have the metal tip allow for people who use foam and stuff like that to actually make lines, make curves, stuff like that using the metal tip of it. It's a great multi-use device.
Yeah. This thing right here is almost indestructible. This one's a low temp, but you can get the high temp ones too for the same price. And you do not know how many times I've needed to do a quick sewing job where something ripped.
Yep.
You just hot glue it, fold it over, call it a day, right?
Yep.
You got 5 minutes before you're doing something. Here you go. We also have some tape, some adhesives. Show some of the tape we've got. So that's just some straight up duct tape. I've got a bigger one right here.
Indeed.
And there is something to be said about duct tape.
Yes.
I have found that the older the duct tape sometimes is better.
Yes. The adhesive on a lot of duct tapes actually strengthens over time. So go ahead and buy yourself a couple of things of duct tape and, chuck them in a closet somewhere and just leave them.
As you can see from the photo, we also have what appears to be some paint. That's just some paint that I found from my kid's place. But any type of paint, I would recommend maybe some acrylic paint if you're doing any type of cosplay involving armor or something like that. That's always nice to have. You can get the same type of acrylic, tiny containers like that. A
Sure.
makeup kit's also very useful. I don't have one in here, but you guys have seen what a makeup kit looks like. It's just get the one from the party store and call it a day, right?
Sure.
If you need anything more than that, then you're probably into cosplay and you don't need to listen to this part.
Right. What you carry for cosplay repair is going to vastly be determined by whether or not you're doing this to be helpful or whether or not you're doing this as a cosplayer.
Yep. On the outside bottom of the image, I've got a couple of clamps here. These are just some muslin clamps. And also, this is, what is it? The little...
The cable management Velcro.
Yeah, this stuff is great.
That is magic.
A little ASMR for you here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Velcro.
You got to say it's Velcro.
Velcro.
All right, that's good.
All right. We also have some batteries there and what appears to be a cell phone charger.
Yes. A lot of cosplay people have things that light up or make noise or what have you, and all of that requires electricity.
Yeah. Now let's break open this box here that you see in the image. I think this is I don't know where I got this box from, but you could.
Just looks like an old school pencil box.
Yeah,
almost.
I think it actually contained some clamps or something like that. But as you can see, there's a lot of different things in here. I'll open this thing up. So we've got some safety pins. Let me tell you,
That's a big one.
out of everything in this pack, the hot glue gun, the duct tape, and the safety pins, if you need anything else, those 3 are going to save your life.
Yep.
We also have some thread. This is just some plastic thread. I think it's like fishing line thread or from like a kite or something like that. I have various other things. I have a lot. Like here's a little sewing kit here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got my batteries are in here.
Some zip ties.
I got some zip ties. Yeah, here we go. Here's some zip ties. These are just the small ones, but you can get bigger ones as well. I have some scissors. These are a little larger than yours, but I would recommend the craft scissors, the ones that actually cut fabric and stuff. Those are definitely worth the money. I have a paintbrush, obviously, and this is just like the double-sided Velcro command strips.
Yeah.
These things are great because you might have like a helmet or something that's hanging on you and it falls off. I always bring a couple of these. I also have just some drill bits or some screwdriver bits because I have like this small pencil-looking screwdriver. You never know when you need one of these things.
Yeah, especially if somebody's cosplay has mechanical parts.
And then a couple of X-Acto blades. So I've got this really small one, which is really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
that nice sound. I also have an X-Acto blade.
Like the classic.
And then I always bring my utility knife.
Sure.
And this is just, it's actually a drywall knife, which I found because it's got the little razor blades on it that you can, as you can see, you could just replace these when they get dull. Yeah, I use this thing more than anything else. And that's pretty much it. You can get away with less than this, but you really just want something that you can attach something to, something you can cut, and then, some power, right?
Yep. The only thing else you might need is if you're wearing prosthetics or if you want to make some very fast, very questionable stitching, you can use spirit gum.
Yes, which I have also. I have some spirit gum right here.
Yep.
One other thing I carry, which Matt doesn't, but that's because I give these out at con all the time, is I carry glow sticks.
Yes.
And these are great also if you want some kind of effect in your cosplay costume. You could just shove these under your arm or something like that, or in between maybe the armor.
And in a pinch, they can replace glow wire.
Yes, absolutely.
Next up, we have snacks and water options.
Okay. Now, you might be thinking, why would I need snacks and water? I can just go to the bar, or I can go to a restaurant and stuff. There's lots of them around convention centers.
That is true. However, you got to stay on top of your blood sugar, whether or not you normally have blood sugar issues. And it may not always be convenient when you need something.
Yes.
You could be in the middle of a panel or a talk, or they're about to do a massive announcement about something, and the last thing you want to do is miss all of the cool because you needed a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Not only that, don't just think of yourself. Maybe your friend has been out doing a little too much partying and has some low blood sugar.
Yeah, they need something on their stomach stat.
Or maybe not even a friend, right? Maybe you see someone who is
just suffering.
Yeah, just suffering, overheated, right? So have a couple bottles of water, have a couple of snacks, stuff that you can give away if people are hungry. I personally prefer, I like Cliff Bars or, small packs of like peanuts and stuff like that I can keep. But you've got, let's look at the image there. Matt's got two different things. He's got what?
I pack in several of these, but I carry a large pack of salted almonds or salted peanuts, cashews, what have you.
So you got your proteins.
Yeah, I mix it up. And packs of dried fruit. And in this case, this is apricots. I'll do figs or whatever, You
just go to the farmer's market and pick up that stuff or whatever.
Do.
Yeah.
And they have a wide variety, and so I carry a wide variety.
I also carry stuff like candy. So gummy bears, shock tarts, stuff like that.
We live and tend to convention in Atlanta, so we tend not to carry things that melt.
Yes. So yes, not a lot of chocolate.
Tends to be hard candy. Tends to. That's not necessarily a preference so much as a necessity.
And again, it's just something that I sometimes give out to people if they're hungry.
Sure.
A little bit of candy here. You help with your blood sugar. Sometimes some granola bars, as I mentioned, or what have you. But the most important part of that is
water.
Yep.
Now, as you know, I am a huge proponent of hydration. I personally drink around a gallon of water a day. At con, I carry one of these with me. Now, this is 84 ounces. I carry it full. I drink out of it using cups. I will pour cups for people who are in need of water.
Mm-hmm.
Generally at conventions, there are places to refill containers. So you can just bring a container. You can also go buy a couple bottles of water, but once you've purchased them, now just refill them.
Yeah, just keep them in your pack, right?
Yep.
And I'll do that sometimes as well. I usually have a water bottle on me, like one of the metal ones.
Sure.
But obviously you're a lot bigger than me and you drink a lot more water than I do.
And if I were to carry one of the large ones made of metal, that's just adding way more weight.
You're carrying like a small canteen or something.
I have 4 of these, 2 in gray and 2 in green, that I have had for time immemorial. And I keep one of them filled with water, 2 of them filled with cocktails, 1 sour, 1 sweet. And if you are drinking, have a drink, have some water. Have a drink, have some water. Be a professional. Stay hydrated.
There you go.
That's the secret to not suffering.
Okay, so we've talked about the most essential things, right? So we've got some medicine, we've got hydration, we've got some booze, we've got some food, we've got something to repair your costume if you cosplay, and finally we've got what?
Something to read, some card games, some dice, entertainment.
Let's take a look at the image here. As you can see, we've got just a couple of examples. We mentioned lighters in there. Got a pen. I mentioned some glow sticks because I give those out.
Yeah.
We've got a couple packs of cards and some dice. Now, Matt, show your side there.
All right. I have a composition notebook with a pen and oftentimes pencil, basically at all times. I write campaign ideas, show ideas, just monsters, spells.
Email addresses when you meet people.
Yes.
Yeah. Different businesses that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they'll give you business cards. You know where those go? They get lost within a day.
Immediately.
But you know what is not lost? A big-ass notebook.
Yeah. I do not lose my notebooks.
Now, I don't. I carry one of those around sometimes. I also carry around like a Kindle that has my books on it because this is way better than like 15, 20 different books
Sure.
in my pocket. And when I'm waiting in lines, which I often do, I'll read if I'm not talking to folks.
And it's significantly lighter as well.
Absolutely. What else you got there, Matt? You got a pack of cards, I believe?
And these are standard old school bicycle cards, right? Like I've got a couple of fancy sets that I might take with me just because they look nicer, but it's a pack of cards.
Yep. I read tarot, so I also carry a tarot deck with my backpack. As you can see, these have been around for years.
Yeah.
They're not even in English. I've used them so
those
long.
are the French ones?
These are the Spanish ones, I think.
Oh, okay.
But another thing I would recommend is like card games. So maybe some Magic decks or Dark Overlord. What are some other ones we recommend?
Dungeon Mayhem is a great card game to carry with you.
Dungeon Mayhem would be good for con.
If you are in a line that is one of those lines that sets up literally a couple of hours before the panel because it's a very big deal, carry some Smash Up with you. That would be wild
Smash
to play.
Up would be great, yeah, sure. And some cons, they just have like an area where everybody plays games, too.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's always a lot of fun. We also have what?
Dice.
And that's just because, obviously, if you're listening to us, it's a TTRPG channel.
Yeah.
We're going to have dice. I have dice in my pocket. I have dice literally right next to me right now.
Yeah.
There's dice behind Matt.
There are.
There's dice in that. There's dice in that box that looks like a mimic.
And the funny thing is even though we've taken dice out of my Dragon Con bag, I guarantee you there's at least one more set of dice in there. Guaranteed.
I would not be surprised. If there's other things that you want for time wasters, please add those as well. These are just some examples. Some people bring all kinds of stuff. I've seen anything and everything. I've seen board games people have brought, like some of the smaller board games.
Yeah.
A chess set was something I saw someone bring.
Oh, yeah. I see those fairly often. If you're just looking for conversation starters, bring a big bag of pixie sticks. People it's whimsical, right? People love it.
That's a great idea.
And
I'm doing that now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get some pixie sticks tonight. Remember, the trick is to have things that you need, but still have enough room for stuff that you want at the convention. Don't go into this thinking like a prepper, as we mentioned before.
Right.
The intent is to make your life easier.
Would you like to know more?
Of course they want to know more. What are we talking about here?
Well, we're going to be showing off our survival packs at Dragon Con.
We will be at Dragon Con this year. If anybody wants to hang out with us, come hit us up. We will have our backpacks on us.
Always.
You can demand to see what's inside.
I don't have any problem with that. I would be absolutely amused if someone did.
We're also going to do what?
We're going to be passing out swag.
Yeah, so come check it out. We'll have some swag in our bags that you can add to your Con Survival backpack as well.
Then our swag bags will be your swag bag.
So there you have it. Just a couple of examples of ways you can make your con life easier with your own Con Survival backpack.
Do you have any questions or comments?
If so, hit us up at Goblin's Corner on the various socials. Did you enjoy this podcast? We've got a whole backpack worth more. Subscribe to it on your favorite players, YouTube and Twitch.
You can also click the 5 stars and give us a review on iTunes, Podchaser, wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. It helps get our show in front of more people, and it feeds the hungry algorithm.
Which is currently crawling towards you, but you noticed the smell way before you even saw it because it did not pack the deodorant in its Con Survival backpack.
Algorithms are terrible people.
That algorithm is funky. That's all the time we have for tonight. Once again, my name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
We'll see you next time.
Good night, folks.
The Goblin's Corner is written and produced by Eric Holden and Matt Staples. Show song by the mighty D20. Don't we love that guy?
Sure.
This is a Subterranean production.